Welcome, and thank you for joining us for After the Moratorium, Eviction Assistance and Resources. My name is Katie O'Connor, and I am the Communications Specialist at Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy. Today, we're going to be joined by Juan Hernandez, Staff Attorney with Immigrant Justice Program at Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy. We're also going to be joined by Erin Barbee, Senior Vice President of Programs and Fund Development with DreamKey Partners. Thanks, Juan and Erin. Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy focuses on helping people in the Charlotte area who may not be able to afford legal help but desperately need it. So when the Supreme Court decided to strike down the federal government's extension of the eviction moratorium, we thought it would be a great idea to bring together Juan and Erin to help those who might be affected by this ruling. The speakers today are going to share some really important information, address some common questions, and direct you on where to get more help. So let's go ahead and get started. Juan?
Thanks, Katie. One of the things that I've been experiencing for the last couple of weeks is just a lot of doubt. People don't necessarily know what's going on. And one of the main questions that I've been hearing is, what happened to the CDC moratorium? Is it still in place? Am I no longer protected? What's going on? So right now, the Supreme Court has found that the CDC moratorium is not constitutional. However, one silver lining is that they have made it clear that the CDC moratorium could be illegal if the United States Congress passes a separate law authorizing a new moratorium. Will that happen? We don't know. Because of that, I tell all of my clients that they need to be prepared for what happens. In this case, for many people, this could be eviction. I've had clients who have had COVID-related job loss, their hours cut, and unfortunately, those individuals are no longer protected from eviction based on the CDC moratorium. However, there are other legal protections available in this state. Thankfully, your landlord can't just come and lock you out. Your landlord can't say, you didn't pay the rent today, and I'm changing your locks. That's illegal. That is what's referred to as a self-help eviction. North Carolina has a number of legal protections for tenants. That's one of them. There are many, many others. And those legal protections help you be able to avoid an eviction. So if you are served with legal papers, that doesn't mean that your landlord's going to automatically get an eviction granted against you. In order for your landlord to be able to evict you, they need a judgment from the court. They have to take you to court. And there's a lot of procedural defenses that are available, and there's substantive defenses that are available. Maybe you don't owe any rent. Maybe your landlord forgot to send you the correct notice. Or maybe your lease says something about what your landlord has to do, and your landlord didn't comply with the lease. These are all valid defenses. But to be able to assess them fully, you should reach out to an attorney. The Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy and Legal Aid of North Carolina provide legal representation for tenants for free. This representation will be able to guide you through this process and hopefully be able to allow you to avoid being evicted. There's also the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Community Relations Department. They are presently operating out of the Mecklenburg County Courthouse Room 2353. They will assist you with filling out your application for rental aid, doing a number of other things, but most importantly, they have a mediation program in which they will sit down with you and your landlord to discuss a way to avoid an eviction. Now, DreamKey Partners and Crisis Assistance Ministry, those are the two organizations leading in the community with financial assistance. I will leave Erin to speak about DreamKey Partners, and I will tell you that Crisis Assistance Ministries, they do the best they can with the resources they can. So I encourage everyone, if you receive legal papers, to reach out to an attorney, reach out to the Community Relations Department if needed, and also try to get rental assistance. The key to a lot of these cases is to have that rent paid off. There's money out there, so I would encourage everyone to use these resources while we have them.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Juan. That's really helpful. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Erin now.
Thank you so much for having me DreamKey Partners is a nonprofit organization that's partnering with the City of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County to administer the emergency rent, utility, and hotel assistance programs. And today I'm going to briefly speak with you about eligibility, prioritization, documentation, and how much of the funds you can access. So for eligibility, the Treasury has offered us some guidelines for the people that we can help that are most vulnerable within our communities. And they're defined by the areas listed on the screen. So any applicant can qualify if they have had unemployment or experienced a reduction in their household income that was significant due to COVID-19. The key there is that you've had to have had a hardship as a result of COVID-19. And you would need to demonstrate a risk of experiencing homelessness or housing instability, which means that you've received an eviction notification or you have arrears that would cause you to be evicted. And last but not least, from an eligibility perspective, you have to be at 80% of area median income and below. And what that means is that for a household of 4, that's an annual income of $67,350. So once you know your eligibility, we have to consider prioritization. And this will help ensure that we're meeting the most vulnerable the fastest. So as of August 1st, we changed what those priorities are. What's most important to know is that if you are facing eviction and you have met the eligibility requirements I just mentioned, and you have a court date within 90 days, you are our highest priority. And you can indicate that on your application. Beyond that, we're going to prioritize first come, first serve by those who are at lower incomes, such as 30% of area median income and have been unemployed for over 90 days, or those who are at 50% of area median income and have been unemployed for 90 days. All of these priorities are listed on the RAMP CLT site, so you can see where do I fit in. Additionally, it's important to know that our application process is rolling. Applications are open right now. They opened on September 1st, and they'll go through the 15th of the month. We will then close our applications and then reopen them the following month, October 1st. Also, it's important to know that if you're confused about the income guidelines, we do have a help for that on the RAMP CLT site. So now let's talk about documentation. These are the things that you should have ready prior to submitting your application so that you can get it in with ease. First, we're going to need your ID. We're going to need some form of identification. That could be your passport, that could be your driver's license. We'll need a current lease. We'll need, or if you are in a hotel, we'll need your ledger. And for rent, you need your ledger as well, going back to the time that you have your arrears starting. We'll need proof of income for each person in the household over 18. If you cannot provide this information, don't worry about that. Still submit your application and we'll talk to you on the back end about how we can get that. We need that proof of financial hardship that's related to COVID-19 and a current utility bill if that's applicable to what you're applying for. We take documentation any way we can get it. You can scan it in, you can email it to us, you can text it as a photo. But when you're submitting your application, there'll be a drop-down box in which you can put your documentation. If you have troubles, let us know. Next and last, let's talk about your available assistance. So for each applicant, you can receive up to 12 months of assistance in arrears, going back to March 13th of 2020. And then if you still need assistance, you can receive 3 months forward. So again, going back 12 months and 3 months forward means you can receive up to 15 months of assistance to help you maintain your stability. We have to pay the arrears before we can pay forward. And you can reapply for assistance as many times as you need, as long as you're still experiencing that hardship and you haven't met your 15-month threshold. So we encourage you to please continue to work with us as long as there is a need there. Here are a few ways to contact us. You can go to the RAMP CLT site that is listed on the screen, but also we have people who are available over the phone. They can do applications or they can answer your question, and it's by last name. So for those who are last name A through J, the phone number is 980-999-1572. If your last name is between K through R, that phone number is 984-422-0329. And lastly, if your last name is between S and Z, you can call 984-422-0285. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin. That's really helpful information. I also want to thank Juan again. I'm going to go ahead and share a screen that has all of these key resources available. We hope you found this conversation helpful. I want to thank Juan and Erin again. If you have any further questions, we encourage you to visit the links we are sharing here for more information. We will also be sharing links to the website and resources that we shared throughout the presentation on our social media platforms. Thank you so much for joining us.